it's moms watching, so it's just like, yeah. Hi, welcome to the Break for Moms. Thanks for checking out this archive video. I am so excited to have Jennifer on from the Nanny Magazine, and she's going to be talking with us today about nannies and, you know, some of the myths that are surrounding, you know, the idea of the nanny and all the stereotypes that you see on TV. And she's going to help dispel some of those myths and share all of the great things that you can have, you know, and benefit from having a nanny at home. And I say this as I have my own sitter here today. So I'm really looking forward to this topic and hearing, you know, a different side of the story, because as moms, we think about, you know, what it's like having a nanny, but we don't always think about putting ourselves in their shoes and what it's like to come into someone's home and care for your kids. And, you know, their job is to care for them just like they were the parent. And that's kind of, those are hard shoes to fill. So we're going to talk today about ways to, you know, help your nanny or possible nanny to be really become acclimated to the home and, you know, help to support them, because they do need support too, and they need to feel encouraged, because it's a career for them, just like any other career. And today we're going to just celebrate that and talk about all the great things involved with being a nanny. So welcome to the Break for Moms. Hi, thanks for joining on this sunny day here in Metro Detroit. I'm not sure where you're watching from, but I am outside of the Detroit area in Michigan, and it is beautiful. We had a beautiful Easter Sunday yesterday, and my kids were able to have an Easter egg hunt outside, and it was just really nice, because sometimes in Michigan, we have snow in April, believe it or not. So, you know, we never know what to expect. And depending on which Sunday Easter falls on, you know, we never know if it's going to be a nice springy day with Easter egg hunts outside, or if it's going to be blustery and cold and everything is kept inside. Anyhow, I'm just getting back to the show here. I took a couple weeks off, and I've got some big announcements at the end of the show. But I want to share with all of you that Jennifer from Nanny Magazine is going to be here later in the program, and she's going to be talking all about her magazine and helping to dispel some of the myths regarding hiring a nanny and having a nanny in your home. The media has probably done the career of, you know, being a nanny a disservice, and we're here together, Jennifer and I, today to set the record straight. So if you're thinking about hiring a nanny or you currently have one, she's going to share some great thoughts and even some advice for what you can do to work with your nanny and really help acclimate them as a part of the family, because, you know, in their eyes, they really do want to do the best job that they can. They take their job very seriously. And, you know, when you hear otherwise, those are just, you know, the stories of, you know, one person here and there. But as a whole, you know, nannies do take their job seriously, and they really are trying to fill, you know, your shoes, and that's tough. So they need a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, a lot of praise. And we're going to talk more about that later in the program today. Anyhow, if you're just tuning in, thanks for joining me on the Break for Moms. The Break for Moms is across social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In fact, I need to share again a reminder that we're live on Facebook. I just sent a reminder on Instagram, but I forgot to do one on Facebook. So I'm going to do that right now while I have all of you here with me. So I can show you what the page looks like so that you know how to find it after the show. I'm pulling it up on my phone, and I'll show you what it looks like. Oops, there we go. So that's the Break for Moms on Facebook. So I'm going to post a little picture saying that we're live. Alrighty, make sure that I've got lots of people watching us today. When will this be published? I want to publish it now. Okay. Hopefully that worked. Oops. I don't know if that worked. I'll have to do it again. Oh, sorry, everybody. There we go. Done. Okay. Oops. And I hear a little one in the bathroom that said she has a poop situation. So I may have to walk away from the show for a moment. I want you to know that I have 3 kids at home, age 5, 3, and 1. And although I do have a sitter here, you never know what to expect with 3 little ones in the house. One of them is outside, one is taking a nap, and one is in the bathroom. So I'm probably going to have to check on her in a moment. So I'm sure you can relate. Give me a thumbs up if you can relate to having a situation in your bathroom regarding your kids. I know that at least one person out there can relate. And my daughter's in the bathroom saying yes. So funny. Anyhow, I hope that all of you had a nice holiday. For those of you that celebrated Easter yesterday, thanks for taking a break from your day today to join me. I'm going to check on my daughter, but please don't go anywhere. Jennifer from Nanny Magazine is going to be joining us around 1:30 today, and she's got a lot of great information to share with you about her magazine and about nannies. You're not going to want to miss this, so please take a moment, text your friends, call your friends. If you are on the Bidchat app right now, feel free to call into the show in a minute. I'll tell you how to do that before Jennifer comes on. And I'm going to check on my daughter and make sure that it's okay in the bathroom. So take a minute, contact your friends, tell them about this show, especially anyone that's thinking about hiring a nanny or someone that has a nanny, or if you know a nanny, have them watch this show because it's going to be a good one. I'll be right back. Are you all done? Are you all done? Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna have you go outside and have Mrs. Elsie come back in and help you wash hands, okay? What's that? Okay. You want to say hi in here real quick? You can say hi. Hi, we're back. Just say hi. Hi. We had a little emergency, but we're done. You need to wave hi? Say we're gonna go see our babysitter, Miss Kelsey. Okay, we will be right back. Hang on. Okay, right back. Okay. Uh-oh, where's Miss Kelsey? Come out here. Can you help her wash her hands? Okay, sorry about that. Whoa, okay. So thanks for joining me. If this is your first time, this is the Break for Moms. I'm Nicole, and I have 3 little kids at home, and I decided to start a show for moms all about motherhood and bring guests on the show that can help share helpful information, resources about parenting. And today we're going to be talking about nannies, and I have Jennifer from Nanny Magazine. So if you haven't heard of Nanny Magazine, it is a magazine specifically for nannies. There isn't another one like it out there. So she's going to talk about it and share information with us. And I think it's really, really going to be helpful for a lot of people out there like me that maybe have reservations about hiring a nanny, but maybe you work from home, or maybe you work outside of the home, but you just need somebody, you know, so many days of the week to come over and help with the kids so you can get work done. I know a lot of parents like to have nannies around so that they can clean their house or run some errands, or maybe you even want to take a nanny with you on vacation. I know there are people that like to do that. If you have, you know, several kids, you might need somebody to assist you during field trips or when you go to the doctors. You know, there are so many different things that a nanny can do to help, and some nannies even help cook and clean and put the kids to bed. So I'm excited to talk to Jennifer today and have her share information that's going to be really, really helpful for us. So in the meantime, I just want to share a little bit with you about our National Calendar Day. I've been sharing with you on the show in a segment about National Calendar Day, that every day, you know, on this website is a special holiday. And I'm talking about not like the big holidays like Easter or Christmas or, you know, Veterans Day. I'm talking about the little holidays that many people haven't heard of. And one of them today is National Haiku Day and National Poem in Your Pocket or Poetry in Your Pocket Day. So let's take a minute to talk about poetry. You know, kids have a lot of books, but I feel like there isn't a whole lot out there for poetry. When I was a kid, I had the Where the Sidewalk Ends book. I'm sure a lot of you had that one growing up. And I have mine saved for my kids. I haven't read it yet, but I have a few, Mother Goose rhyme books and whatnot. But I feel like there isn't a lot out there for poetry. I always thought that I wanted to write a book for kids that was a poetry book, maybe silly, more modern poems, because I don't think there's a whole lot out there. I'd be curious to know if any of you have any books at home, or maybe you've checked them out from the library with a modern twist on poetry, topics that interest kids today, with the tech age. I would be curious to know if there are any poem books that touch on some of those modern topics. That would be an interesting one for me. Anyhow, I haven't gotten my oldest into writing poetry yet, but he does like to play a lot of rhyming games. So along with Poetry Day for your little ones, if you've got young ones, you can play a rhyming game. I do this with my son in the car all the time, and we will pick a word, and then we'll go back and forth and name a word that rhymes. It has to be a word that exists. They can't do baby talk, but we might start with car, and then he says bar, and then I say star, and you keep going. Some words are going to be easier than others. Hat, bat, cat, and you go back and forth until somebody cannot think of anything else. So whoever gets stumped and can't think of anything else, then they lose. So the winner is the one that keeps the game going the longest. So that's a fun game that you can play today. I play it in the car with my son, and he also likes to do just rhyming at home. They do love, all kids love books that rhyme. It just helps them to stay focused and pay attention to the book. I feel like a lot of board books rhyme for little ones, but then as kids get older, they tend to maybe steer away from the topic of poetry. But today's a great day to be reminded of, helping your kids with poetry. If they're older, teach them how to write a haiku. If they haven't done one yet, you can look online. There's, rules for how many words per line, and it goes in a certain pattern. I can't even remember the exact pattern. I'm going to have to look it up. I think it's like 5 lines and then 4 lines and then 3, 2, 1, something like that. I could be wrong. But there's a rule for how you write a haiku poem, and it doesn't necessarily have to rhyme. Not all poetry rhymes. So that's an interesting point to share with your kids as well, is that it doesn't have to rhyme. There's different types of poetry. So anyways, happy National Haiku and Poetry Poem in Your Pocket Day. There are a few other holidays that you can look up, and I want to tell you the website because I always say it wrong. I pulled it up on my phone here. It's a great website to use with kids, and if you're a nanny out there, this might be one that you want to use. I'm sorry, I'm pulling it up here on the internet. Here it is, nationaldaycalendar.com. I'm glad I looked that up because it's easy to get those words mixed up. nationaldaycalendar.com. You can use that to come up with activities for your kids daily. I'll read you some of the other ones that were for today. Some of these weren't as pertinent to kids, but National Ellis Island Day, National Cheese Ball Day, if you want to have a snack that is inspired by the day of the month, you could make a cheese ball with your kids. That would be kind of a fun activity, making a cheese ball with your kids. That could be kind of messy, but it might be fun. And National Bat Appreciation Day. I know at a local museum, there was a bat exhibit. If you're from the Metro Detroit area, I believe it's Cranbrook Museum had a bat exhibit. So you could take your kids to a science center if there's a bat exhibit by you, or check out a book from the library. There's so many different things that you could do. And check on Pinterest, because Pinterest has so many ideas. If you ever don't know what to do with your kids this summer, go on Pinterest. Let me tell you, I could spend hours on Pinterest. So if you want to check out some ideas that I've shared in the past, go to the Break for Moms on Pinterest. The show is on Pinterest, and I've shared some ideas for past holidays and everything in between. So go check that out, and the archived videos and blog posts, some of them are on there as well. Okay, so it's 1:15, about 15 minutes before Jennifer joins us, and we talk a little bit more about our main subject of the day, nannies and Nanny Magazine. But I wanted to cover another segment on the show, my segment called Get Organized with Nicole. As a mom, I'm constantly trying to get organized, and honestly, it's a work in progress. If you see behind me, this is my office area, and this is one of the tidiest places in my house because I have systems in place for my papers. If you can see back here, I got this at Hobby Lobby. If you can see that, it's a basket shelf in the back. There are four baskets. You can't see the one on the very bottom. And then there's a top shelf. Let's see if you can see it, where I put my hole punch. But I love that. And I have a little container inside there within the basket where I can put file folders. So I have a filing system on one of the shelves. I could probably do more. Oh, Jennifer, hi, I see you connecting. Great. Anyhow, we'll talk a little bit more about organizing, and I'm curious to hear what Jennifer thinks about nannies and their role in helping moms get organized in their home. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for joining me.
Sure, no problem.
So I'm going to let you talk about the magazine in a second, but I want to ask you some questions related to the National Calendar Day today.
Okay, absolutely.
So I was talking about poetry and, ideas for poetry with kids. So maybe we can touch on really quick related to nannies and, getting kids out of the house, going places, going to the library. Do you address a lot in your magazine about, ideas for what nannies can do to keep kids busy during the day?
Oh my gosh, we have so much in Nanny Magazine for just activities and recipes and things like that for little kids. First of all, you gave me a really great idea about the poetry thing for kids. So obviously I publish a magazine. You just made me think maybe I should start doing something for poems for kids or something like that.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there.
Right. I mean, the Giving Tree comes to mind, I feel like, first and forefront for everybody, but what else? I don't know. It's so hard to find something. Definitely going to the library with the little kids is a fun activity, especially if there's a story time or something like that and your little ones are able to sit through that. But we do publish a lot in the magazine for activities that are fun, educational, sensory bins, outings, lesson plans, all kinds of cool things. Actually, in the latest issue, we did this really cool, let me see if I can find it. My desk is a disaster because I'm moving soon. But we did this really cool lesson plan. It was written by my editor-in-chief, Amanda Dunyak, on farms. So it gives you all these different ideas for how to incorporate that theme as a lesson plan, as an activity, as there are a lot of books in there too. I don't know if any of them were actually farm related, but this particular article is.
It sounds like fun. My kids love animals, anything to do with animals.
Yeah. So yeah, we love it. Other things that you can do with kids related to books and reading and writing are just, depending on how creative the child is and if he or she is able to read and write, you can take turns reading to one another. You can take turns writing stories or poems for one another, playing games with rhyming words. So maybe the mom or nanny could pick a word and have the child find one that rhymes with it. That's always fun, I find, and kind of silly as well. So, or making
and that goes with Poetry Day too, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's back up for a second. Let's talk about your magazine and what inspired you to start this magazine.
Oh my gosh. Well, the magazine's just turned 4 years old this month. So when I started it, it was a couple years after I had stopped nannying, but I was a nanny in grad school and college. And when I was a nanny, I was always thinking to myself, why are there about 1,000,001 magazines for parents and people who like tractors and people who like cats, but there's no magazine for nannies and they're taking care of little actual human beings? So
Right.
I started my career in publishing in 2010, and around that same time I sort of brainstormed the idea for Nanny Magazine, and it's kind of been going ever since. So we launched officially in 2013. Our first issue was in 2014. And we're just now publishing our second issue of our 4th volume. So we're super duper excited.
Wow, congratulations. Such a great undertaking. And I feel like there are so many people that I'm thinking of off the top of my head that I want to tell about your magazine and, maybe give that as a gift to them, because you're right, there isn't a lot out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it would make a really great gift for any nanny. And there's a lot of valuable content in there, not just for nannies, but for moms, dads, daycare workers, anybody who has a little child in their life or plans to at some point. So we're super excited about being able to provide a resource. The obvious main audience for the magazine is nannies. And the reason why it's so important to have a publication for them is because a lot of times they're told, when are you going to get a real job? Or, you get paid to play all day. And, they don't have a lot of resources, and they're very often marginalized in terms of their career choices. So I'm really proud that I'm able to provide something for such a group that is so hardworking, so caring. They have big, big hearts. But they don't get treated with half the respect that they deserve. So that's why we're here. We're really champions for nannies.
Right. I mean, really, they're like teachers.
100%, a lot like teachers and more, because the teacher gets to go home at the end of the day. The nanny,
Right.
if she lives in the home with the family, she doesn't get to go home at the end of the day. Not only that, the nanny is actually entrusted with keeping the human being alive and well. And the teacher also has her own environment. The nanny's working in your house. That can be sometimes uncomfortable depending on what's going on in the home or what's being laid out in front of the nanny. So, there's a lot more to it than just kind of, the segments that a teacher deals with are also very, very often overlapped with the segments nannies deal with, and then some. So,
Yeah. Let's, for the sake of our audience, let's define nanny versus, like, people have babysitters. Can you help me clarify, what, when you think of nanny as a career, generally speaking, what that covers, and, help me to dispel some of the myths, because there's just so many myths around the term nanny and what pops in our head.
oh, Nicole, I would love to tell you what nannies are all about. So, actually, the top rated article on my website of all time is also written by the same person, Amanda Doniak. It's not like she's our only author, she's just a really prominent one because she's our editor in chief. So, she wrote an article called I'm a Nanny, Not a Babysitter, and Yes, There's a Difference. That's the title. It's so funny. I love it. It's actually really true. Nannies and babysitters are not the same things. Nannies are professionals. They are very often highly trained. They come with a specific academic background sometimes, and sometimes that will be early childhood education or other fields depending on what the family is interested in developing within their child. So they are also in this for their career. That doesn't need to be for 50 years of their career. It could be like for me for 5 years of my career, but it was actually a career choice that I made. It was something very deliberate. When you're a nanny, you're trusted with caring for the whole person, for their whole family, for their entire well-being. Like I mentioned earlier, that could be education, that could be nutrition, that could be physical health and activities. So in addition to that, they're also really in charge of making sure that the child's entire life is just on track and working, and they're really there to support the parents when the parents can't be. So the people who decide to hire nannies are actually very busy full-time workers who have very busy careers, demanding social lives or what have you. And sometimes it's a really difficult choice to make, to decide to leave your babies, your little pride and joy, with some person that you found on care.com or any of the numerous other sources that are out there for hiring nannies. So nannies do a whole lot for the family, a whole lot for the children that they are in charge of, and that's kind of the general gist of what they do.
I'm so glad you clarified that, especially, the academic portion and the training behind it, because, I mean, let's face it, people get confused, and the average person just sees a nanny as an extension of a babysitter. I hate to say it. And, I don't see it that way, but I know that a lot of people do because of how it's portrayed in the media as a career.
Exactly. I have so many issues with the way that the media portrays nannies. It really is repulsive on so many levels. Some of the big ones that you hear are, that nannies are out to steal the dad and try to get with the father. And you hear about that all the time with celebrity couples that are divorcing because of a nanny scandal and this and that. And that does happen here and there. I think that those nannies who do that are opportunists, and I think that they're taking advantage of their position and they're putting their charges. By the way, charges is the technical term for the little kids, because you don't want to say my kids because they're not your kids, they're your boss's kids. You say my charges. So yeah, so the nanny that does that, I think, is just an opportunist and somebody who's looking to make headlines and maybe make a negative name for themselves. That's not the majority of nannies who are out there. The majority of nannies who are out there are in the field because they love children. They love being around children and making a positive influence on our future. They have a really big job because they're raising the next generation of children to be upstanding citizens of our world and of our country. They're stewards of our future, and they demand, I feel like they should demand more respect for that. Another really big thing that we hear and that I take issue with for nannies is, that it's not a real job. Ask any stay-at-home mom or working mom or any parent out there ever if it's a job, if it's a hard job to take care of children all day, especially for those moms who don't get to leave the home and have adult interaction. That's something we hear a lot from stay-at-home mommies, is that, I'm with a 3-year-old all day. I feel like my gray matter of my brain is dissipating. So it's just this. It's a terrible thing to say to people who are nannies. When are you going to get a real job? Now, for me, when I was a nanny, I was working while going to grad school, and it was perfect for me because it gave me an opportunity to not have a very nitpicky work environment with colleagues just battling it out with each other while I was doing my studies. But for other people, they tend to stay in the field for decades, and they love it, and they make a lot of money doing it. And a lot of times they're making more money than you are, and you're sitting there, not you specifically, but the general you, saying, you don't have a real job. And it's just hilarious because when I was a nanny, I was for sure making more money than a lot of my friends who were criticizing my career choice. So that's for sure something that a lot of nannies just definitely take issue with. So Nanny Magazine is there to sort of be a champion against that, to support nannies, to show them that they have they have a very important job to do in our community, in our world, and that they should be embraced instead of being torn down. So we support nannies, we support families who make the decision to hire nannies. I guess the one last thing that I wanted to talk about is that, moms who, specifically moms, I feel like dads probably too, but more so the moms, is when they do hire a nanny, they may feel this just sinking in their heart and this terrible feeling, saying, I have to leave my child with somebody else. And it's hard. Sometimes moms get jealous of that attachment, and they have a hard time with that. But I just want to say to any mom who might be feeling that guilt, even if you're just leaving them for 3 hours with the sitter on a Saturday night, if your child loves that person, you shouldn't feel threatened by that, because you want somebody who's going to love your child in your absence. And I think that's just truly beautiful when you have that. So embrace it.
I agree. Now, I got 2 last questions for you. We've got about 3.5 minutes on the clock here. So for people that are looking for a nanny, you mentioned care.com, in the truest sense of the word, the professional nanny, where is the best place to find them?
So it's really hard to answer that question. It depends on your geography. Where you live may have a resource that's not available everywhere else. One really great place to turn is an agency, because they'll do a lot of your screening. There are some agencies that are more reputable than others, so do your research. Ask around, ask friends where you may be able to find a really reputable agency. They do your screening for you. They'll do your background checks for you. They're only going to send you the top qualified candidates to be able to handle what your family's workload is. So that's one good place. I did mention care.com. I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever, but I think they're a great service. I'm not saying that because they sponsored my launch party, but they did. And there are other online services like Sitter City, Urban Sitter. Those ones are great as well. And then just word of mouth is really good too. If you have a friend who has a nanny, and for whatever reason, say your child ages out of having a nanny, maybe the lady down the street needs a nanny. So giving that word of mouth referral is a really great way for nannies to boost their business.
Awesome. You gave me so many good ideas to share with friends, because I know so many people that are either starting a home business or they're thinking about going back to work. And, a lot of people, I think that moving forward here, the future is bright for nannies because I feel like a lot of people are moving away from daycare and starting to look for nannies as, you know, a more viable option. So I do think the future looks bright for nannies in their career for sure.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So let's end with this. Can you tell everybody how they can get your magazine, where they can find you on social media so they can contact you if they have questions or if they want to check out more information?
Totally. Yeah, I'd love to. So, so Nanny Magazine is print and digital. Here's just the latest issue that we did. The issues that I'm talking with you about today, like the child loving the nanny more than the mom, sometimes this is how it feels, is available in this issue. We all know that's not really true because they always love you as the mom more at the end of the day. But so nannymag.com is our website. We're available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search for Nanny Magazine. Subscriptions are available for both print, digital, and a print and digital bundle together through our website, nannymag.com. We offer bulk access as well. So if people have like 10 people that they're trying to buy it for, we'll give them a discount.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, anybody can reach out to us if they want to write for Nanny Magazine or take photos for Nanny Magazine. We love working with new artists, and we love doing collaborations with other small businesses that may have a desire to grow their presence as well. So we're really open to working with new people.
Awesome. One last question. So I mentioned to you, I'm in the process of doing a rebranding, and I may focus on moms and organizing. Last comment from you here. Nannies and helping with cleaning the house. Yay or nay?
Yay when it involves the child, nay when it involves washing the mom's underwear without that being specifically mentioned in the contract and agreed on both sides of the fence.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. We're out of time. Feel free to call back in if I missed anything, asking you any questions, or if there's anything else that you want to cover. Thank you. I see you calling back in here. Thank you to all of you checking out this broadcast. I see there's 160 of you right now. Awesome. Give us those thumbs up if you like what you heard from Jennifer. And if you are enjoying the program today, that's great instant feedback for us during the live show. And I think Jennifer is going to come back on and mention a few more things, maybe on that last question that I asked her. Because I know that's a question that a lot of moms have, and whether or not that's covered, you know, if that's part of the territory. So, gosh, so much great information. I can't wait to dig into that magazine and, you know, maybe even submit some ideas, Jennifer, because I think that there's a lot that moms and nannies can contribute as far as ideas, and everybody's got different ideas about working with kids, and they're all great. It's great to have an extra hand, extra resources, because we shouldn't do it alone. You know, nannies shouldn't go it alone without help, and, you know, moms shouldn't either, or dads for that matter. I see that you're trying to call in. If for some reason it's not working, just exit out of the app and go back in again. Sometimes there's a little technical issue. Sometimes the app needs refreshed, or sometimes, you know, you just need to close it out and come back in. It's just part of the territory with live streaming. We never know what's going to happen. Anyhow, keep those thumbs up coming. That helps to not only give us instant positive feedback, but it also helps the Break for Moms to trend higher in search results so that other moms and other parents and other people that are new to Bidchat can discover the show and check out what the many special guests on the show have had to offer. And there's so many great resources. So please, after the show, check out the archive videos. Just click on archive, and you'll see them listed by date. You can either click on recent or most popular, and you can check those out. I also post all of the archive videos on YouTube, and then I share that link on the Break for Moms website, which is www.thebreakformoms.com with the number 4. So please check out all those archive videos there as well. And don't forget, on social media at the Break for Moms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, Pinterest as well, with all kinds of great ideas. So I'm going to have to create a board on Pinterest related to nannies and ideas, and maybe some interesting articles and tips for maybe hiring a nanny, or, you know, ideas to share with the nanny, or maybe articles that nannies have posted that are great ideas to share with parents. Jennifer, I see that you're back on now. Yay. Sorry that you had trouble connecting. Again, I'm sorry that we kind of got cut short on time.
The Break for Moms web.
Hi, you're back.
Hey,
Thank you.
okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to
That's okay.
one last thing.
Yes.
So this month, later in April, on the 29th, there is this event called National Nanny Training Day. There are various locations all around the country. I'm not affiliated with it, but I think it's great for people to be aware of. So if anyone watching your show has a nanny, please send her to that. She'll come back feeling so invigorated to take care of your kids and feel really refreshed and have a lot of new ideas. So check that out. That's National Nanny Training Day. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was National Nanny Recognition Week is a yearly event. That's September 18th through September 24th. And it's a great opportunity to just show your nanny you love her, give her a card from the kids or whatever. So yeah, so that's it. That's all I wanted to mention. So
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Please send me a private message with those details for what you just mentioned, and I'll post that on the blog post too.
Sure, I will do that. Okay, well, thank you so much, Nicole. It was great to chat with you today.
Thank you. And I learned a lot, so I really appreciate all of the information that you shared.
Great. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.